Yo, welcome. As always, I appreciate everyone for checking me out. And so in this video, I decided to interview a very good friend of mine. He started a blog not too long ago, Memoirs of Lowercase G. I'll have a link to the blog in the description. Now this is actually the second part of the video. Unfortunately, the first 22 minutes of the video got deleted during the editing process. And so, in the first 22 minutes of the interview, it was actually pretty good. I asked him questions about his blog, so he went into the blog in detail. He talked about his son, some of the reasons why he started the blog. He wanted his son to have just memories of these young years growing up. And I asked him, how has fatherhood changed him? Because his son is only a year old. And I thought one thing, because unfortunately you won't get to see it, and so I'm going to try to paraphrase it as best as I can. But one thing that really struck me was that he acknowledged how much he loved his wife. And when his son was born, how he realized that was a different type of love. And he talked about how just having his son and how fatherhood, having this new experience of fatherhood has basically expanded his love, or his capacity for love has grown. He knows how to love in different ways now. I thought that he articulated that very beautifully. Unfortunately, we won't be able to show that part of the interview, but you can catch the rest of the interview in its entirety. I really didn't edit it out or edit anything too much because I lost the first portion of the interview, but that's enough of me talking. Let's just go straight into the interview. I hope you enjoy it. All right, we back in effect.
We back?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so let me think of my next question. Okay, so if you had to pick maybe three things, that didn't get necessarily passed down to you, or maybe you didn't get that exposure and knowledge, that now in hindsight you feel like, damn, I wish my dad would have told me that.
Yeah.
If there were three things, or maybe even two things, because it may not even be that many.
Right.
Let's just say two things that you didn't have or learn that you're going to make sure little G learns.
Yeah.
What are they?
I got one off the top. Financial education.
Okay.
Do better things with your money. Play the long game. Invest. That's something that I didn't have any idea about.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I went to. I had a class in high school, math, money management. And that was my intro to a lot of different financial concepts, or even vehicles, right? Like the stock market. We played the stock market game. We did our own taxes, right? It's just lessons that I learned there that kind of, it's like, well, damn, I'm really starting at zero.
Yeah.
Whereas I think there was a lot of people who didn't start there. Mm-hmm. So I know that financial education is huge. That's number one. What else? I mean, because I know how to treat a woman, I think, I think I do fairly well at that. Being respectful and
I think I can still, we're going to double back to your second thing while you think
what you got?
But I think I can still work on, and so being more romantic. I thought of that when you said, treat ladies. Now, who knows? My dad was probably very romantic, you know what I'm saying? But I don't particularly remember him as being that.
Yeah, you didn't see it.
But I think some of, maybe my mother and his wife currently, may venture to, say otherwise. I'm sure maybe he had his moments.
Right.
But when I think of him, I think of a tough guy. a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
You know,
that romance side, you don't get that vibe back.
I didn't get that, and so that's probably, you know, that one of the things that I didn't get passed down to me that, you know, I would, if I have a son, that, you know, maybe I would try to work a little bit harder. And it's hard when you ain't never had it, so if like you didn't get it, and you know, finances and stuff, you feel like you'll learn over time because you need to, but like, how do you figure out the fucking romance side? Kinda, if you didn't ever get it, and when you do it, sometimes it may come off as awkward, and so you don't, you know, just feel weird as fuck.
So I didn't get that from my dad, and I do figure myself to be a fairly romantic guy. Like, I love making gestures. One of my ways of showing love is let somebody know they feel special, or know that they are special to me. So I do special things, right? I want to do unique things to express my love, and that's the romantic side of me. I didn't get that from my dad. I can't say I really got it from my mom, but I came up, so I never lived with my dad, right? He was an active father, but he was never in the house, right? It was my mother and my two sisters for all my memories, right? But I won't say I learned romance from them either. I learned some things not to do. I learned some things that work, but that was just from watching. Right? I'm observing active romance and seeing, okay, that works. This doesn't work. That works. And then, you know, I watch a lot of movies. So, you know, one of my favorite movies to this day.
Will Smith taught me a couple lessons.
One of my favorite movies to this day is Hitch. That movie has some romance in it, boy. I love that movie.
Will Smith had everybody doing certain shit.
Right. So yeah, the romance aspect is really good. I think that's something that would be good to pass on. And without me being conscious of it, I don't know that I would have consciously passed it on. He's obviously going to see some of it, but if I can provide active lessons, you know, some coursework, he's more prepared.
So I thought about that, you know, when you said that, but your first thing was finance that you didn't necessarily. I don't want to say didn't get, but let's just say.
I didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
I did not get it.
And so what's the second thing?
Routines, and that's one that my mom tried to give me.
I think that's important,
but she was forcing it, and at that point, I was a little rebellious. Like, no, man. You know? Even there's this great video. You've probably seen it. This YouTube. I think he was a Marine. He's talking about making your bed. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
The importance of making your bed. So
I make my bed every day.
I make my bed every day. Now that's something that my mom always made me do.
Yeah, my mom's on that shit.
I allowed that message sank in a little deeper coming from somebody else. You know, when it's coming from somebody you love, it's just like, all right, well, I'm doing it because if I don't do it, you know, she's gonna give me hell about it. But habit forming is huge.
It is.
It's not easy neither.
It's not.
Even doing the blog, at first I was doing one a week. Then I slipped for like 2 weeks. Then I do 2 in a week. Then I slip for 3 weeks. And consistency is a result of having a habit in my mind.
I believe that. And if you have, you know, you start incorporating a lot of successful habits at a very young age.
Habits, routines,
I mean, how can you not be successful?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I didn't get that I'll pass on behind finances. Because I'm seeing how that is today. Like when I can lock in on a habit, I'm talking about my entire day is day and night. But it's that falling off. All right, so what have I read? How long does it take to form a habit? Like 30 days or?
Yeah, shit. I thought like 21. I don't know. We need to look it up.
Yeah, we should look it up because if you can make it through that and then just have that one locked in, oh man, there's so much more that you can do because you know that aspect of whatever it is, whether that's working out, writing,
and I think it's it's difficult to form a habit, whatever number of days it is.
Yeah.
But from the sayings I hear, it's a lot easier to break it. You know, so if it's 20, 30 days to form it, you stop in 3-4 days, it might be a wrap.
Man, I'm stopping in a day.
You know?
Like, I have a habit going. I did one of the 30-day challenge, did a 30-day ab challenge.
Okay.
When I had somebody, that's another thing, is finding some, like an accountability partner, somebody that you can be like, yo,
yeah,
I don't really feel like doing it. And like, do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's huge. Because when I tried to do the 30-day challenge on my own,
yeah, this is hard.
No, I started that challenge the end of January, 30-day ab challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing, right? But I still didn't complete it. I got to day 29.
Oh, you did?
So I made it to like day 18, 19 straight.
Yeah.
Right? And then I fell off. I missed a day. That day turned into a week.
Yeah.
I get back on it and do, another 2 days. I get to 20, 21.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be sore because when you're not doing it consistently, then, the abs ain't as tight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, speeding it up, I stopped, right? It's been 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's been longer than that now. I mean, I kind of gave up, but I need to go ahead and do that last day. But I went a long period without doing it.
Yeah.
And I got to day 29. And I was like, man, I just got to finish it. Just do the last one. How hard could it be?
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like I'm 30 days without doing any ab exercises. Oh,
Oh, so you went 29 days without doing it?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I thought
So I was
thought
breaking it
you
up
said-
at first. It was like a couple of days, then a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Then like 2 weeks, and then that last time between like day whatever it was 26 and the last time between day 29 and
Yeah.
when I attempted 30 was a full month.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So when I attempted 30, man, I made it through
Mm.
30% of the exercise. It's like, oh man, I'm not ready.
You know what?
Oh, that reminds me, I started it over. So I erased all my progress. So if I want to do it now, I gotta start at day one.
Yeah, you gotta start at day one.
Jeez, and that's discouraging.
You might have to practice for
That
a
happened a
month.
little bit. Well, that's how it was because it ramped up really nicely. Like day one, I might not even been sore,
Mm-hmm.
but I could tell I did it immediately following the exercise. I could tell I did something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then you get to like day 10, it's like, oh yeah, I'm sore.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so gradual and it's not a super steep slope, right? It's manageable, the amount of increase that you're having to do. So I can start over day one, do that today.
I need to look at this because I want to work on my abs.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this 30-day 300 push-up, 300 pull-ups. No, not pull-up. That's too damn hard.
Squats, right?
Yeah, 300 squats, 300 air squats, but not 30 consecutive days.
Yeah.
Because I actually wanted to get some muscle benefit from it too.
Now they do build in the breaks with this ab exercise too. So
Okay.
like 5-6 days I have to.
Yeah, and so my whole thing do the 30 days or maybe 36 days,
Mm-hmm.
which part of me kind of think might be tougher because you stop. And so you got to make sure, like, all right, I stopped today, so I have to. I can't. If I go 2 days, it's a wrap.
It's done.
Like if I go 2 days, I can go maybe 5 or 6 days doing it. Then if I go the 1 day of rest, and it's very rare that my day of rest been me doing nothing though. I think I've only done that one time. And I got everything notated, but I think I only done one time. Usually my day of rest. Yeah, I did it today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a lot of shit today, boy.
I was gonna say that's on top because you said you ran 5 miles, right?
Yeah, I ran 5 miles. Well, really like 5.9. The 300 push-ups, 300 squats.
Mm-hmm. You already done? For the day?
Yeah,
Okay.
and 100 pull-ups.
Yeah. Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, I did all that shit this morning. But the reason I'm doing it, the physical benefit is cool. That's like a byproduct. For me, it's more mental.
Mm.
It's just, I figure if I can work on just having that discipline and then even do it via a couple of more 30-day challenges, but if I can practice having that discipline, then you can start really applying it to other areas of your life.
Yeah.
And ultimately maybe that may help it easier to form these routines or habits. Like when you set your mind on 10 different challenges and executed all of them.
Executed. Right.
And you're like, okay, this is what my day is gonna look like from here on out.
I think finishing it is huge too, because now you got that sense of accomplishment. You want to do it again. Yeah. Right. And that's definitely something. Every child should get that. That's something that every child needs to get. Yeah. And it starts with something simple. Make your bed every day. Right.
And there was some, I want to say, we brought up Will Smith earlier, and I think he had a story, and I might butcher the story, but it was something to the effect of him building like a brick wall of fence. His dad, that was one of the jobs that they had to do. And he said he thought that shit was just going to be impossible, as a kid. He like, how the hell we going to build a brick fence, And they did it. He accomplished it. And I can imagine accomplishing something like that as a kid. Yeah. And now you like, oh, well, shit, I can do anything.
I tell a story from when I was a kid, and I went with my boy's dad. He took us out and we did a Habitat for Humanity. And we were preteens, right? But I'm out there putting up siding, and then the next year, because we did it consecutively, like we would do it one year, and then we'd do it the next year. And the next year, like, I'm up doing shingles on a roof. Young. At that point, I was a teenager, but it's like, that's not. And to this day, I'm really handy, and I attribute that to being out there with professionals and other volunteers, just learning how to put a house together. Like
that would have been a dope experience right there.
Oh, you can still do it. We can sign up for one.
I need to go on and do
it. I saw something about it today.
Because I got to work on it. So, I started these videos to just put myself out there a little bit more, practice on some things, and they really hold me accountable. You know what I'm saying? So now you got this blog, and you got, people like, hey, what that next? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I get that question all the time.
Yeah, it forces you to.
It's been a couple days. What you got?
And so part of this whole process, and I might even say it to you years ago. I'm not sure. I know me and Oscar, I think, talked about it, where I want to volunteer and I want to start to give back more. And I haven't done it yet. And I've been thinking about this real hard over the last couple of years. Now, via my job, we volunteer to feed the homeless and all that good stuff. But I just want to do more. And I feel like, you just putting yourself out there, your kids seeing it, maybe other people seeing it, maybe, you don't have to be old. You don't even have to be activist or whatever to volunteer. Like, all it takes is to, we both could just say, hey, you know what, you got $50, I got $50, let's pull up, let's go buy some sandwiches, some chips, make some grab bags, boom, go out and give out 50 grab bags to the homeless.
Right? Yeah, and that's why I love the slogan so much, effort over ego. That's all it's not a whole lot of effort.
It's not a whole,
It's just intentionality. Boom, all right, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah,
we're put in a little effort, and then we're going to get that done. And then that's going to turn into the next thing. And then that's going to turn into something. And it just grows, but it takes that effort. It takes that initial push, that energy, that step out to start to develop stuff like that.
You do. And eating those mistakes.
Absolutely. A mistake can shut you down real quick.
Real quick. Oh, damn, we only brought 50 grab bags. It's 1,000 people out here.
Right.
Just trying to figure out what to do, even with the videos or with the shirts. You post a picture, now people are like, yo, what a link, what a website? I'm like, well, my permanent one, I still got, so I had to come up with a temporary one. And so it just forces you to do certain things, when you put yourself out there.
Forces you to action.
Yeah, and to correct the mistakes. And so absolutely. I need to just, I was saying all that, I need to just jump in there with the whole volunteering. And
that's something that you can literally just jump into. Like, it's something going on basically every day in Atlanta where you can just go and volunteer your time. You can just start with time. You giving up your time. I mean, a little sweat equity, right? You might, I don't know, build something for somebody or feed some. You feed on the street, giving out sandwiches or whatever. But that's one of the ones where you can. There's a little barrier to entry, right? You can jump in that today if you want.
All right, so I got a few more questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
So I I know at the beginning of this, you know, I wanted to talk about, you know, fatherhood, you know, all together. And I think we accomplished that, talking about a few different lessons and,
I agree.
You know, how has it changed, you know, how the man you were versus after fatherhood, and lessons that maybe you didn't necessarily get that you want to pass down, and, you know, the letters and legacy. And so I want to know your thoughts on the state of Black fatherhood. You know, open question. I'm not forcing you down any lane. Just the state of Black fatherhood, period.
Growing up Black, been Black my whole life, right? I've seen things that I don't think other people in other races have seen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the masses, right? On average, I don't think other races are harassed as much as we are. That's just where I stand. And I think there's some statistics that show that. Mm-hmm. But being a Black man, there are certain aspects of it that just aren't glorious, right? There's a lot of prejudice that's there, and there's some concern. So one of the lessons that I'm going to have to teach, it's not financial and it's not forming good habits, but you know, how to deal with the police. That's something that I'm going to have to teach. I have to pass that on because I don't want my son to be a statistic. And that's something that I actively, like, I'm at the hospital like, well, what should I start doing? Should I start writing down lessons of how to do this? Because I don't want it to be something that we learn from experience. Like, I don't want to have to get pulled over to teach this.
Yeah.
Because at that point it may be too late.
Yeah.
We talked about it beforehand. When they see us.
Yeah.
He is one of the us.
Yeah.
You know? It's like fuck. You know.
Yeah.
I would wish nothing else on him. I want him to be a Black man. He should be proud of being a Black man because it is an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I'm proud of who I am for sure.
Yeah.
Through and through. I wouldn't have it no other way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they see us. when they see us, some people see us based on perception, based on history, based on the latest news story, or some propaganda that's being pushed out by fake news or government or whatever it is, right? They're letting others dictate their view of us before they know us. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's in my mind as a father, more so than when I was living it myself. Because now, you know, I have had some experiences where I don't want him to have to go through that. How do I prepare him to go through those? Because that's not to say that he won't just because I don't want him to, or even if I prepare him to go through something like that, to experience direct racism. That's not to say that he will never know it because I've taught him what to do if you experience it. I hope that he never does. My sister wrote a book, Dear Martin, and it's about that. It's about race relations. And, you know, I was telling her, we're having a conversation. I was like, man, I hope, and let me get my phrasing right. This is what I'm saying to her. You know, I hope this book is just pure fiction by the time our children, because she has 2 Black sons, right? I hope this book is pure fiction by the time that they can read and comprehend it for themselves. Mm-hmm. So that's for my oldest nephew. That's probably 8 years, 7 years. How old would you think you are when you first knew, like, all right, I'm a Black man? Did you know it from birth, or more so on the negative side?
You know what? With me, I remember telling my mom. A lot of people might goddamn Joan on me or get on me about this shit, you know what I'm saying? But I remember I was probably like 7 on some shit like, yo, I want to be white.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because it wasn't, I would just be watching like Richie Rich,
Yeah.
Silver Spoons or something. You know
You
what I'm
didn't see
saying?
yourself in the video, right? Did you see a young black man like as a superhero or anything like that?
Nah, I just remember when it was our life. I remember struggling like a motherfucker. But it was fun. Don't get me wrong. Like I remember we was going through the struggle, but it was still fun. I was around my family.
Yeah.
I guess I would bring up I think it was more the financial side for me, like, you know, watching TV and you like,
that lifestyle.
Yeah, they doing all this shit and
vacation.
Yeah.
What's the vacation?
We struggling, you know, I might a car drive down the block and we like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
Richie Rich wasn't living that life.
Yeah, he wasn't living that life. It was a whole different little life. And so I think, 7, like, that's when I really like, yo, fuck, like, they living good over there.
Yeah.
You know, now we cool, we have fun, you know, but everybody had fun. I want to have fun and have all that shit.
Have fun on a boat.
Yeah. So I think that's what it was. But then as I got older, and especially now, you know, I feel like I came up in, particularly maybe a lot of black people, although I don't necessarily see it out there, but in my life and what I've been exposed to and who I've been around, I feel like I can deal with anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's really no situation. I never feel pressure or stress for the most part. Like, I always feel, as soon as a problem go down, I feel like I immediately know what the worst case scenario is.
Yeah.
And if the worst case scenario isn't death, then I'm kind of like,
cool.
or me breaking a bone, or, you know what I'm saying, like bodily harm. The worst case scenario is, oh, well, you know, in black households, it's a lot of financial issues. So maybe sometimes your money not right and you can't pay the rent.
Yeah.
Well, and that's happened to me like once in my adult life. And, you know, I wasn't stressing. I was just trying to work, trying to figure it out. You know, I was in communication with the leasing office or whatever the case. But I only know, it's only so much gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
not gonna die. It ain't gonna be nothing I ain't dealt with when I was young.
Yeah.
But now I'm in control and I could probably deal with it a little bit differently than it was dealt with back then. And so I'm very comfortable in almost all situations, I feel like, personally.
Yeah.
And so that adversity, growing up a certain way, you know what I'm saying?
It's a character builder.
Yeah, build character and strength. And matter of fact, now I look at a lot of other people within the race, or, you know, particularly outside the race, or whatever the case may be, and I be like, oh, motherfuckers couldn't have survived in my shoes. It just really couldn't have. I feel
Death
like
was in the cards for them,
you
know, without that light being on. Right?
Yeah, motherfuckers wouldn't have survived. I just really, really feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, I remember even going to the military and in boot camp. And so I'm in boot camp, like, I mean, it was motherfuckers like really breaking down in boot camp, like breaking down, crying, trying to run away. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not to laugh at them, the military service is huge, right?
You know, they doing a lot of shit, and I'm like, guys, I mean, fuck, it's just a couple of guys yelling at you. They ain't gonna touch you.
Yeah.
That's in my mind. That's
never been yelled at.
Yeah, I'm like, they ain't gonna touch me because we're gonna have real problems.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, that's how, yeah. But it's, you know. So I think that the question ultimately was the I guess, when did I start noticing race? And I want to say 7, 8. Yeah. That's when I really started noticing it.
For me, it was a little later. And then, you know, we got a couple of years in between us. It ain't nothing major, but.
And I think that's really particularly maybe because I was in Chicago. You know, big cities, there's a lot going on, and you know what I'm saying. So I always contributed a lot.
Like it's Atlanta, but it ain't Atlanta.
Yeah,
it's not. I'm not down. I'm not in the city.
Yeah.
You know, my high school was pretty diverse, and so at school I never seen them. Right, and throughout my entire primary schooling, really didn't experience any racism. One time, but there's not really a politically correct way to say it, but the person who was perpetrating the racism had a mental illness, like literally.
See, I don't know how I feel about that though, because my mind, even young.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm
that
like,
is still racism.
You sane enough to be racist,
but you can't hit him. You can't do that. you can't hit him.
If you sane enough to be racist, your ass sane enough to get punched. That's how I feel. But nah, that's different. But you know what? Now experiencing
this is what he was saying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See, black animal. I can laugh at it now.
Yeah.
Like we was kids, and we used to laugh at it then a little bit. But now I had somebody who I felt, I think he was less conscious. Now there was definitely a hardcore racist in his surroundings. You just pick that up.
Yeah.
It's not a,
Yeah.
That's a learned behavior. Let's call it that.
Yeah, definitely.
So there was somebody around him that was racist. But
you can learn that. Well, you better learn how to defend yourself too. They should have taught you everything,
right?
You know.
Yeah. Somebody might come at you for saying shit like that. But yeah. But outside of that one experience, and that literally at the time, like we would laugh and joke about that shit. So, I was probably 16. I know I was driving, but I hadn't been driving long. And me and Dion. That wasn't even. Me and Dion had a rough week at that point because we backed into a parking space at a Taco Bell in an area where there might have been a trap in the vicinity, but we backed in and didn't immediately get out. But it wasn't like we was loitering. We didn't sit there, right? We just preparing to go into Taco Bell or thinking about our next play. And they came up. Light beams out, you know what I'm saying? Get out the car, all that over the speaker. And bro ended up searching my whip. And his excuse was that it was because I backed into a parking space. I'm like, really? Right? But my dad is a police officer, so I knew how to handle that. I'm like, all right, well, look, I ain't got nothing in there. Do whatever you want. And I know I don't have to do that, but that's my fastest way of getting out of there.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do. Dion's mom came up there.
Which is kind of fucked up, though.
Yeah. Did I have that?
That you gotta do that. You gotta
I gotta
relinquish your right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In order to feel like I'm
just to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a terrible situation. But at the time, that's what I knew, and I did that. I relinquished my rights. Damn, that sounds fucked up even saying it. Like,
yeah, that's really what it is. It's like I ain't got nothing. You ain't seen me do nothing, but I gotta give you let you search my car.
And I'm a kid,
yeah.
Right? I'm not a grown man. So that's what I knew at the time. Later, that dog. Actually, I think this is the same day. We went to Mall of Georgia, and I was telling Brittany this last night about how the dressing, like how I dress, like ain't no way you have been seeing my knees.
Yeah.
When I was 18 years old, like don't nobody see my knees.
I don't see your legs like that.
But I was wearing, super big ass shirts. I had like a 2X tall tee on, 125 pounds, soaking wet, little bean pole. Got this big ass shirt on and these baggy shorts.
Yeah.
And we walking through Mall of Georgia. I don't know if it had been open that long because it was new to us because we literally walked the whole mall, but giant ass mall from end to end. I feel like it's several football fields. We walked from one end to the other end, and this security guard on a Segway, I remember that, followed us the entire length of the mall. Like we would pop into Foot Locker, and he'd just be chilling by a pole on the other side of that little strip. Right? We come out and we obviously notice him. That's one thing about my blackness. I feel like I'm super aware.
Yeah.
Like, I have to know.
Yeah, you gotta know what's
around
going on
because I don't want to be caught up in no shit.
Yeah.
So either way, we noticed him. He followed us for so long, right? And for nothing, we weren't doing nothing wrong. Like I wasn't. you know, I wasn't stealing. I'm not doing anything wrong. He followed me because I was black and I had to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's terrible.
Yeah, no,
right?
That sucks, yeah.
So, but that's when I found out.
Yeah.
Now my son will know as soon as he's able to understand.
Yeah, yeah. I think
and it won't be. I won't present it in like this scary way, but it's like an awareness thing, like we were talking about.
Yeah, I think I talked to my daughter about it, and we don't do it in a scary way, or you know, I don't do it negatively. I don't think it's more of an awareness thing.
Because again, hopefully when they're adults, they won't have to deal with the things that you've seen, that I've seen, that we've dealt with. So that's the wish, but you can't lack preparation because you have an idea of what the world may be 10, 20 years from now.
And I think, so I mentioned where 7, 8, my first time kind of noticing, like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying, it's a different situation going on.
Yeah.
I think my first time, it's funny, another time where we experienced racism, and I feel this way, only because the story came out years later. I think we were in the Denny's. You know what I'm saying? And
damn Denny's, boy.
It was like that was like 8 or 9 or whatever, and we had to wait so damn long, extremely long in my head, like extremely long to get our food. And then I want to say years later, a story came out about how Denny's was racist and all this and this and that, all the other good stuff. But I didn't necessarily count that until the story came out. I just thought that was extremely long wait,
like what's going
for
on?
A family. And I remember the family we was talking about it, like, oh, what the hell, you know?
Where's our food at?
Yeah, where's our food at? And so, but I want to say my first time with, I knew I experienced it. I didn't need nothing to tell me after the fact. I want to say it was in high school. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Somebody helped me out who was on the high school basketball team with me. It was either my sophomore year, so I'm either 14? Yeah, I'm either 14 or 15. 15, 16, right around there. And we went to a basketball tournament in Tennessee, I believe, at Lee College. And so me and a couple of my partners was walking to the gas station from the hotel, just to get some food, whatever the case. And these white boys rolled up all at once in a pickup truck. And so, I'm trying to remember if they had a Confederate flag or not. But they just rolled up all at once in a pickup truck, and they was like, niggers! And just drove off. Like,
yeah, that's true.
And so, we was going ham because, we young, 15, 16, we play ball, we athletic, it's a group of us. So we like, yo, we with it. Let's come back.
Right.
Of course they didn't come back. And then later on, I want to say, in the military, I felt like I dealt with it a little bit too.
Yeah.
And, from cops here, there, but honestly, I've interacted with cops a few times.
Yeah.
For the most part, I want to say I'm fortunate that, it always could have went left. I always probably could have had a super racist cop or something, but I don't ever feel like I did, and I'm one of the guys where, for the most part, my interactions was from the stupid decisions I made.
Yeah.
And so I don't even want to blast cops and nothing like that, but you spoke of awareness. I'm aware.
Right.
Although my experience with the police might have not been a certain way.
Yeah.
I've
had really good interactions with cops.
Yeah.
That's not saying there's not bad ones out there, but I think for the most part, that's a tough job.
It is a tough job.
That's a tough job. So I try not to pass.
I try not to do too hard.
Cops like everybody is against me, right? But I know that the law in a bunch of situations is against me. Just going back to that, when they see us, right? They had evidence that it wasn't these kids that did this, and they still went to jail for double-digit years.
Yeah, potentially, or maybe they, based off the movie,
Based off
potentially or allegedly, you know, the prosecuting side may have modified the whole timeline
right
to make it so where
to fit the story.
You know, and so I mean, there's so many probably brothers who done got lost to the system for, you know, BS or shit maybe they potentially haven't even done.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, when they see us came out, boy, you know,
there's some folks in jail that need to be in jail. Right? If you're a serial killer,
mm-hmm.
you need to be in jail. Like, you shouldn't be out here with us. You killed 5 people?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not stable. We try to rehabilitate you, but you're gonna have to sit for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm in a position where I haven't done anything, right? Or if I have, you know, I stole a car, and that's not to look upon that lightly. But why am I in here with him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He
might kill me.
He literally might kill me.
Yeah. Motherfucker might have a Nazi sign on his forehead.
I gotta change my entire lifestyle. I gotta change everything I do to make sure I get out of there. And I think
I gotta become a savage.
Of the institution to survive.
Yeah, I agree with that. So if y'all haven't saw that movie, everybody should have hopefully saw it by now.
Yeah,
or
series.
Netflix. Check it out.
Yeah.
Man, I think I'm gonna end it here, man. I think it's been a dope conversation.
Yeah.
Tell them again, where can they find? I'm gonna put a link, you know, to the website.
Right.
But where can they find your blog at again?
So the blog is lowercase g.me. That's LOWERCASEG.me. Right. But I do want to shout out. It is Father's Day. Well, it's not yet. It's tomorrow. But I want to shout out the dads, because it wasn't just the older figures. It's the dads around me who had an influence on who I am as a dad.
And if you want to throw out some names, I'm gonna throw some names
start
out.
with you, Marcel Kendall. Right?
I appreciate it.
Great dad, great example of fatherhood that I saw well before. How old is your daughter?
9.
Yeah.
You know,
So I've seen fathering.
Yeah.
For a while, right? Dion got 2 strong kids.
Yeah.
Great dad.
Happy Father's Day, Dion.
Right, Carlos. You know, I've seen some daddy. My boy Matt.
Okay,
Matt working
on
squad is growing.
You got a tribe.
Congratulations again.
Yeah, congratulations.
You know,
come hoop.
Right, come hoop. You know, but Matt's a great dad. You know, and they instill in love and discipline, and you know, they actually all have sons. Mm-hmm. Well, Carlos has a daughter, and you have a daughter, but you instill in, you know, how to be a man. You growing little men.
Yeah. Because I don't think your life don't become real till you gotta raise a kid. So in my mind, to a whole other life kind of depends on you.
You know, even with so I'll make the joke that a kid and a dog, right? Because I had a dog first, and I did learn a lot of lessons from my dog, like patience, and sometimes it's just gonna be shit on the floor.
Yeah,
that's it. That's just what it is sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned lessons, but I'll make the joke, like, well, man, kids, dogs, blah blah blah.
But
if my dog really fucks up, he's gone. All right? If he bites Grayson, he's out here. No second thoughts. Yeah. Now,
if Grayson kicks the dog, Grayson, you're good.
Yeah, Grayson's fine. I'm not even. Even if this second child, you know, he all out back, hit Grayson in the face. Grayson hit this baby in the face.
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of them over something like that. If they bite somebody, I still have to keep them.
Yeah.
Billy bites somebody, and it's like, all right, well, you got to pay this $5,000 ticket, or we put him down. If I'm in a position to pay the ticket, then because he's a member of my family, but he's still a pet. He's a dog, so you know there is a limit.
Yeah.
There is no limit with the child.
No, you're right. There is no limit. You know, we talked about how fatherhood changed you. It's changed me dramatically. Like I'm always trying to think balance short term and long term.
Right.
You know, even more than I did when I was young.
Because that's something you preached for a while to me.
Yeah.
You didn't throw that to me.
Yeah,
pretty
you know, and I think before I had a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Before you had a kid.
But once my daughter popped up, it was like, oh, okay, like I gotta get this shit all the way together.
Yeah.
And so, But I did want to shout out some fathers also.
Yeah.
I shouted out, Happy Father's Day to Mr. Martin. Of course, my pops love you.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Is it Mr. Alexander? Your pop?
No.
Oh, okay, my man Pop to you. Happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day to you. Uncle Bob, OCW, Pop, DT. That's Theo Dad.
Okay. Theo Pop, my uncle LZ,
Mr. Simon,
Mr. Anderson, my boy LJ Father, Mr. Curry, my boy Roy Roberts, Jock, all of them. They stepfather.
Somebody out, right?
I feel like it's at least, my homeboy, he lost his father years ago, Mr. Hayden, Mr. Jenkins.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dan.
And so all the fathers we've lost, the fathers that's still here, and the new fathers to be, just enjoy this day, and hey, enjoy this ride.
Right.
Any last words?
Take it serious. I've had so much fun being a father.
Yeah, it's
but
fun.
It's a responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
I own it. Mm-hmm. I thought beforehand, but I don't really have no deadbeat dads in my circle, right?
Yeah. Now I'm like that, though. I can't. If you don't
circle.
fuck with your kid, I can't fuck with you.
Now, and I know it's situations where you might have a mother who's just not happy with the father. Boom, boom. He's fighting for that though. You always got to fight.
Yeah.
But now that I have a son, I have that love to give to him. I cannot imagine not being a part of my son's life. So no matter how long it's been since you spoke to your child of any age, put that effort in. It's a responsibility, but it's so rewarding. And I promise you'll be like, yeah, he was right.
Yo, well, I appreciate you coming through, my man.
Coke and Pot, much success.
Coke and Pot.
See you on the moon, bro.
Yeah, Memoirs of Lowercase G.
Memoirs of Lowercase G.
Check them out. Hey, thank you all for joining. Subscribe to his blog. Subscribe to the channel. And comment on if you could, give me maybe what is the number one thing that your father passed to you that kind of influenced your life? I think that would be something dope to comment on. But outside of that, enjoy the rest of y'all day. Love.
Hey, appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, that was dope, man.